Good afternoon, everybody. It's your pal Overland Metalhead here. I'm in Platstowe today. I'm heading out to East London Cemetery, and I'm going to visit a very special grave of a New Zealander who died tragically 40 years ago this year, and is buried in East London Cemetery rather than being buried back home in New Zealand. I'm talking about Blair Peach. Now, what happened was, you think back to 1979 in Southall, the National Front, a bunch of racist people, were having a conference, a meeting, and so there was over 100 of those NF people at the thing, but then there was at least over 20,000 anti-racist people, and then they showed up, and then so the police were there to protect the National Front scum. And then what happened was Blair Peach was whacked in the head that day in April 1979, and then he went back home, and he died tragically. And so for last 30-40 years, they've never given the names of those policemen who did that, but the family of Blair Peach was given at least £75,000. So 40 years later, you kind of think, maybe it's time that those bastards who committed the crimes 40 years ago be paid, even if they're some 7-year-old scum living in a... Now, what I've read about Blair Peach was, he was a teacher. He was born in New Zealand in the 1940s, and he immigrated to the UK in the late 60s, early 70s. And the thing was, he wasn't really up for doing national service in New Zealand, which at the time he probably would have been sent to Vietnam and stuff. It was the whole draft and all. So coming to England and stuff, he became a teacher. He was part of this union. He was very much active in anti-fascism and stuff. And he actually got arrested in 1974 because this one business somewhere in London, they refused to serve people of a certain colour, and so he had a confrontation with the owners, and he ended up getting arrested for it. I mean, he wasn't really violent against the owner and stuff. I mean, he was just really disobeying, just chucked him in jail for that. And then, years later, I mean, being anti-racist and stuff, and fighting against imperialism, and fighting against national fronts, and fighting against fascism, he just gets whacked in the head by the police in April 1979. And so you kind of think to yourself, look, why didn't the police just basically say, okay, you protesters, you have to stay on this side, okay, and you have to stay away from that Centre Hall. But then the horrible thing was all these National Front bastards, or 100 of them, they were all giving Nazi salutes, and a lot of them were praising the death of a Sikh man who was murdered many years prior to Blair Peach's death. So we're closing in on East. So the one thing that gets me a lot since I've been living in the United Kingdom for the last 4 years, it's the amount of xenophobia that I myself have had to deal with. And I've dealt with this a lot in job interviews, especially when these disgusting employers in Birmingham, in the West Midlands, and even in Sweden, when I went for jobs over there, they asked me oh, why you move here and stuff. Now these people who are interviewers, they don't work for the Home Office, they don't work for the UK Border Force, they don't work for Swedish Migration Board, they don't work for Swedish Immigration, so they shouldn't be asking this type of questions. Now you got to remember, alright, there are over 1 million British citizens who live in Australia, and I guess maybe 3/4 of the population in New Zealand are British, I guess. So, but then the dumb thing people think is, alright, but then how come there's only 100,000 Australian-born people in the United Kingdom, or at least 25,000 New Zealand people in the United Kingdom? Well, you gotta remember, okay, a lot of people who left the United Kingdom in tough times and all, they went to Canada, they went to America, they went to Falkland Islands, they went to Australia, they went to New Zealand, they went to South Africa, they went to the Gambia, they went to Ghana, they went to India, then to Pakistan, Burma, and all. And so they moved out there, and they stayed there maybe, and they died there, and they got buried there. But then you gotta remember, these descendants Like these descendants who were born in Canada, who are born in those countries. Alright, a lot of them, these people who are born there, if they were born before a lot of these colonies were given independence, they were automatically given British citizenship. Just like with people like David Lammy, like a good politician, whose parents were born in Guyana. Now, a lot of us people who were not born in the United Kingdom, but we are of British descent, we have the Jul Saingus right. We have the blood right. No matter what our colour or creed, we have the right to obtain a British citizenship. We have the right to come to the United Kingdom and stuff. We have the right to like live in Europe. Maybe not for long. Maybe we can go pester an embassy in London to give us a permit after Brexit and all. But we are not want to be screwed around by xenophobic people, by white British people who are born here, and they're all like, why are you here? What are you living in this country for? And so, why do you live Canada? Why do you live Australia? Why do you live America and come to England? Look, dude, if you're not part of the Home Office, you don't ask these questions, okay? And you need to, if you're gonna say stuff like that and ask these questions, you gotta look at the British Migration Act of 1983, which specifically says children born abroad to British parents who were born in the United Kingdom before, like, after 1983, they're entitled to become British citizens and stuff. So if you're a person like me, if you're born in Australia and New Zealand and you're entitled to British citizenship and you want to live in the United Kingdom without restriction, you have the blood right to become a British citizen, no matter where the hell you were born in the world. And even if you don't have British parents and stuff, and if you're willing to come to the United Kingdom on a visa and work hard and stay hard and obtain British citizenship after many years of living here and there, you can do that. So I'm at East London Cemetery's main gate. Got these flowers for Blair. Oh, wow, this is a big moment to the Great War. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of war graves in the cemetery. So, I've been told to go down this road and to find the right chapel. He is in plot 33. So it was a very nice man at the office who gave me the instructions to his grave. I couldn't really give you a map, but I've got the right instructions. Now, Blair Peach is buried in lot 33. The thing is, his tombstone is a bit like faded away and all. It's very dark. But it was white when it was installed 40 years ago. So he should be around here somewhere. I just have to do the hard finding myself. So I've been walking around the cemetery all day, and the nice young man over there, he's directed me to where Blair Peach is buried, and he says he was there on the day. It was one of the biggest funerals. So here it says Blair, loved son of Jane and Clement Peach, because it was Blair Clement Peach, or Clement Blair Peach. Loved brother of Roy and Philip, and beloved friend of Scylla, Catherine, and Rebecca, born the 25th of March 1946, Napier, New Zealand, died the 23rd of April 1979 in Southall, England. Let them remember for all time this man as their brother and their friend, William Morris. Morris, yes. And like here you see this beautiful thing of a white man shaking a black man's hand. That's how it is. Or it's kind of how it, well, it wouldn't have, it's faded away, but that's kind of how I see it now. And then, here are the flowers for Blair Peach, and somebody's left this on his grave, like the end man. Probably somebody else's, but yeah. Then the groundskeeper basically said his friend committed suicide soon after. This is Robert Boyd Anderson, who's roughly the same age of Blair Peach, husband of Janice, father of Robert Jr. Boyd loved mathematics, music, and mountains. Wish you were here. So this is kind of like quite impressive how like one man dies, he's killed by police, and then his best friend commits suicide and is buried near him. I find it quite touching that Blair Peach rests here in England. Maybe he was meant to live the rest of his life and get married and have children and live in this country. Maybe he was meant to go back to New Zealand. But sometimes where you die is where you should be buried. And that's what so many thousands of New Zealanders who died in World War I and II are buried where they die. So if you ever want to visit Blair Peach at East London Cemetery, his grave is around this corner, behind that church, and right over there where I left my flowers. So and remember, like, the cemetery shuts at 5 o'clock, so I need to get out of here. Right now, I feel empowered in many ways for finding Blair Peach's grave today. Maybe he's influenced a new generation of New Zealanders and Australians and Canadians and Americans who are like, we do not want to live in our country of birth anymore. We would rather be living in Europe, because I have always believed there is more freedom in Europe than in Australia and in New Zealand and in the United States and in Canada. You see, New Zealand customs were pricks to me because I only spent 5 days in this stupid country just to attend my cousin's wedding. And if Blair Peach was alive today and somebody had told him that New Zealand customs had been jerks to people from Arab countries and Muslim countries who live in New Zealand, he would be spewing. And if he was alive today to see what happened in Christchurch on the 15th of March 2019 this year, he would be crying his eyes out and angry and disgusted, because we live in a world full of horrible right-wing people. And as I've once said many years ago, the world needs more Nelson Mandelas, Thomas Sankaras, Hugo Chavez, Donald Woods, and less right-wing, racist, disgusting people. It's like, Blair Peach, I salute you. Fight the power, fight racism, fight imperialism, punch the racist shitheads in this country, and teach them something. Teach them to stop being disrespectful to other people who were not born in this country. Teach them to love thy neighbor. Make them go to the synagogues, the mosques, and the temples. Make them go to church and prayer. Make them love thy neighbor.